like, subscribe, follow. Let's go.
That's my baby. That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they did it! They did it!
Left, feet left.
What the hell was that?
Oh, yeah! What the fuck are you talking about?
Bob Mannery here. You're listening to A2D Radio, real sports talk radio for the fans, by the fans, no agenda. These guys are the best in the business. Hashtag it. No notes.
Welcome in, everybody. This is A2D Wednesday nights, only on A2D Radio. We are brought to you by the Counseling Center and Sunrise Detox. And listen, we know many of our families and us deal with mental health and addiction issues. We are happy to support the Counseling Center and Sunrise Detox. If you need help, please call 856-651-8117 and tell Rob Lutman, people from A2D, saying you trust Rob a ton with this stuff. So if you need any help, please call 856-651-8117. Tom Arnone, Ryan Broder, Ralph Del Vecchio, Frank Vesely, Craig Mockvick, Cromer. We got everybody in the house tonight. What's up, family? Welcome in. And listen, there's some news. There's some news and notes, okay? And the news and notes are from somebody I think is a credible person, messaged me that the Carson Wentz deal is done. He's on his way to the Chicago Bears, and it'll probably be announced within the next few days, okay? It's happening. I don't have to like it. You know, maybe I got to get a tattoo. Maybe it's just one of them hemp ones. I don't know. But that's going to happen because it looks imminent. It looks like it's really going to happen. And I would never come on here and tell people something if I really didn't believe that that's what's going to transpire. No idea what they're getting back. We can speculate on all that kind of fun stuff. I would assume it'd be something around the first or second deal that was reported, somewhere in that conversation. But we'll talk about that, and we'll talk about some of the Eagles' embarrassing rumors, which just might not be one anymore. It was embarrassing for a while, but it might not be one anymore. So we'll talk Eagles later on in the show. But listen, the Carson comments are on tap tonight. So bring them. Around the NBA, Sixers, Rockets, we'll post-game it. Close one now, 6 with a minute to go. And we're gonna do live reactions. And at one point, they were up 20-some points. And it was like, okay, well, what are you live reacting on this? You know, it's a blowout, but it's the NBA. And the NBA, everybody makes a run. So I don't care that they made it close. Just close out the basketball game. Our poll question that you can vote on, and it is brought to you by bodycheckwellness.com. You can use the promo code A2D. Get yourself 20% off at bodycheckwellness.com. I take the clarity and focus. Love it. Got the wellness box in the other day. It's delicious. It's all organic. It's great for athletes, and it's just great for people that are, you know, trying to put better things into their body. So bodycheckwellness.com, promo code A2D for 20% off. Our poll question: the Sixers need to make a trade as soon as possible. Agree or disagree? Let us know. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. That's where you can find us live. Everywhere you get your podcasts, we're there as well. Like, subscribe, follow, join the conversation tonight, and let us know. We'll talk some heavy Sixers, and we're going to talk some Eagles as well. So in terms of the poll, you know, as soon as possible, I'm going to disagree. As soon as possible. You know, after they close out this game tonight, this team's still in first place. You know, and they've had bench struggles. You know, they're without their 2 point guards tonight. They're without Shake Milton and Ben Simmons. So you're without two key parts of your not only just scoring, but the way you control things. So that throws everything out of whack. So they got off to a good start tonight, and all you're looking for is to close it out. So this is huge bench minutes for guys that needed it. You know, Matisse, Maxey, guys like that. These are good minutes for these guys to be able to get. Isaiah Joe, I saw getting a little bit of run too. So these are valuable bench minutes. I know that's coach speak, but right now, like as soon as possible, no. Do I think they're going to make some bench moves and do some things on their bench? Sure. I do believe that's going to happen at some point. But do they need to make one as soon as possible, like the sky is falling? No, I'm going to disagree, because once you get shake back, your bench it isn't great, but it's better. And your bench can give you 25 to 30 a night. And that's honestly all you need from them, right? We talked about needing an identity. Yes, this bench needs an identity. And I believe that's going to come later on before the deadline, right? I don't think it's going to needs to come as soon as possible, but I do believe something will come. Now, like the Bradley Beal talks, no, but something along the lines of a good bench piece, a good veteran. If that's a 4, another guard, I don't know. But yes, I do think something's going to happen. I'm just not panic mode like it needs to happen yesterday or it needs to happen as soon as possible because, again, we're in first place and we win this. We're still in first place tonight. So take that for what it is, peeps. You know what I mean? And that's what missing Joe, missing Ben at different times, missing some bench guys. You know, they've been able to get themselves, you know, they close it out to 19-10. So, you know, I'm not in a rush for a move, but I do think, you know, there's going to come to a point that they're obviously going to strengthen something that's not their biggest attribute and their biggest strength, which is their bench, right? And they're going to look to say, hey, can we get a little bit deeper here? But remember, you only play 8 or 9 guys come playoff time. Your bench gets shorter. It just happens around the NBA. So if you can find me, right, if you can find me 3 bench guys right here that you think, you know, can be valuable for the playoffs, obviously Dwight's going to get minutes, right? Shake's going to get minutes. So then you're really looking for 2 other guys. Is that going to be Ferk, right? Who's that going to be? Matisse? So that's what you're sort of looking for. But real quick, Rockets, and then you guys go. Rockets got off to a quick start tonight watching this game too. It was a lot of up and down early on. And another adjustment by Doc Rivers, went to the 2-3 zone, stifled them a little bit. And then the Sixers went on a big-time run. And that's the difference in this basketball game right now and why you're going to walk out of here, you know, another win at home and the Beast to the East and the best team in the NBA, in my opinion. I don't give a shit what the Jazz did to us the other night. I don't care. If Joel Embiid plays, we win that game. You know, we're without Shake and Joe, and we give them a run for their money. Mm-hmm. So the big question is, after this poll question, is I want to ask you guys, and just remind me of this one, is Ben Simmons the other night, is that a step to something that you expect to see more of? Or do you expect it, just a mirage? Just a mirage. So we'll talk about that a little bit too throughout the show. But back to the poll, the Sixers need to make it, and bear with me, fam. I'm dealing with the worst, like, tooth issue of all time, but I'm like fucking Cal Ripken. Okay, like there's no way I was missing 2 shows tonight. Missing 1, I will take 100 fucking Tylenol to make sure. I've been icing like an athlete today. I've been like an athlete. I've been icing, salt water rinsing. I've been taking body check wellness. I've been freaking everything you can do. Everything you can do. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. My face is swollen. I feel like I can't talk. I feel like words are slurring out of my mouth. Like somebody like stuck a needle right here. You know what I mean? And numbed it. Like somebody numbed me up. You know what I mean? You're just like droopy lip talk. So the Sixers need to make a trade as soon as possible. Agree or disagree. Remember, if you just join us, please, if you like what you're listening to, and even if you don't, all right, if you don't like what you listen to, give me a fucking thumbs down, and you can go fuck yourself. If you do like what you're listening to, all right, then give us a thumbs up over wherever you're at, okay? And give us a game and talk, a subscribe, a follow. The S's are what's getting me. You know what I mean? Subscribe, follow, and then obviously the poll of Sixers in it. So the S's are going to continue tonight. So can he get it right is the question of the night. But subscribe, follow, download, join us. All right, we're going to read off your shit and stick your face out the front. Troy, I've been sticking my fucking face. What do you want me to put it in the snow? I might literally put it in the ice. I've been icing. What do you want me to do? Kayvon, it's been a little bit of a wild week, but I plan on reaching out to him within the next week and looking to get him on and listen, expose City. And another thing before we move on too, because I'm going to forget this. Marcus Hayes, okay, the Daily News, okay, not Marcus. The Daily News is a fucking disgrace. All right, and whoever their editor is, they should get fired immediately. You know what opt-out is? You understand what an opt-out is? You're putting that in the header. And I talked to Marcus in a DM, and he's like, I'll tell you what he said to me. You know what he said to me?
Can only imagine.
I said, just thanks for the clarification. I wasn't trying to take a shot at you. I'm taking a shot at the header. You know what I mean? That's what I'm taking a shot at. I didn't even know he wrote it until Eddie said, oh, Marcus Hayes. And I was like, oh, shit. So then I tagged Marcus. But then he goes, thanks. You're not taking a shot at me. Opened up a considerable shitstorm here. Well, guess what? I'm not in the least bit apologetic, dude. Get your shit right over there at the Daily News. You can't put a header that says he opted out, like he decided he didn't want to play. Come on, dude. Be fair about it. I know you didn't say it in your story, but if you have no control over what's getting on what your headline is to the article that you wrote, then shouldn't the shitstorm be your editor? Tag his ass.
Also shows the power of A2D, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, all right.
Well, they said on the broadcast, somebody started to question the other night after the Jazz game about Joel. Hey, Joel's missing, games against certain centers, and Doc shut it down right away. It was like, I don't know what you're trying to imply.
Yep.
Because the back tightness is a real thing. And obviously he showed that tonight because I didn't expect him to play the second half. I didn't expect him to play the second half the way he ended the first half and just the way he was stretching it. So that's legit, right? You know what I mean? And then to the poll question.
Big,
go ahead.
We're up big, right? We're up big where you can shut it down. Where you can, all right, we're up big. That would be an opt-out, you fucking clowns. That's an opt-out. Go ahead.
No, I was just while I was talking, I was just going to go to the poll, and I disagree. If the trade deadline was this week, then yes, obviously it's a different story. But I completely disagree. I agree with Tommy. What you said. There is going to be moves made. I don't think they're major moves, but it doesn't have to happen immediately, right? That we still have over a month till the trade deadline. It's like March 25th or something along those lines. So there's plenty of time to for this to play out and then to truly see what we need. Obviously, bench pieces is that, but what type of bench pieces do you need? Do you need a flat out shooter? Do you need another 4? Like, what is it exactly that you're trying to get? So I disagree to the poll.
Yeah, I'm right there with Greg. The perfect words you mentioned, Tom, was panic mode. If I were to agree to the poll, and I think if anyone does agree with the poll, I would say that they are in quote-unquote panic mode with this team. There's no reason to be in panic mode. I understand we went on a 3-game losing stretch, but at the end of the day, you talk about it, a couple of those games, one without Joel, the other one, obviously Simmons tonight, we win without Simmons tonight, but, you're going to go through, tough little, road trips, especially the West Coast trips are always more difficult for the teams anyway. That's not an excuse. That's a reason, so to me, like you said, Tom, they're first seed in the East right now. You know what I'm saying? Anytime you're first in anything, you should not be in panic mode. And I definitely wouldn't say that we need to make a trade right now, especially because, to your point, Greg, the trade deadline's, it's not next week. It's about a month away. And 2, I think we can all agree whether it's a very small move or a marginal move or even, maybe a move that can, maybe add something to the starting 5. I really wouldn't expect that, but you never know. Daryl Morey's in the building. So he's not going to be complacent and say, well, no, I'm good. Those days are over. You know what I'm saying? He has, I know people were saying the other day, oh, well, it's all about how much he buys into the team. Well, clearly he has to buy into the team because of the number 1 seed. It's just the point of it. You know what I'm saying? To where if you're the number 1 seed in anything, you're going to buy in. So moves are coming. I'm not happy with the bench either. But to your point also, Tom, we've been without Shake Milton. You know what I'm saying? Mike Scott, I don't expect anything from Mike Scott, but he's coming off of a major injury. He's coming back from, he's been out for a while. Then who are you really relying on? Furkan, not consistent enough. Tyrese, he's still a baby. So these were all things that Daryl Morey himself expected to happen. He talked about the first stretch of this season being all that figuring out the identity of this team, not only in the starting 5, but in the bench. That's why he always talked about, before the season that he didn't use all the quote-unquote bullets as far as trade assets, mid-level exception, buyouts, etc., because he wanted to see what this team was in a big sample size. I don't even think we fully have seen that sample size yet. We're over that 20-game threshold that we always talk about, taking it 10 or 20 games at a time. But to me, this team's in a great spot. I don't think we should be complacent by it, but we shouldn't be talking about making a major trade or any trade right now. If it happens, great, but we're fine. We're fine, and that trade will come before the deadline hits.
Yeah, I believe so too. Definitely. Cheech, listen, teams blow leads in the NBA. They didn't blow it if they won the game. You know what I mean? So they never gave up the lead. So they didn't really never blew a 29-point lead. They just made the game got closer. Got a little interesting at the end here. But, that's it. It's not – that's not, to me, nothing like worry about and be, overly concerned about. If they lost the game, then, yeah, that's a conversation for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, boys, whoever wants to go next on the poll, go ahead.
Oh, I'll go next.
Oh, Ralph, thanks, buddy.
Right.
Force any-
What's up?
No, go ahead. I'm not trying. I'm not pulling anybody's arm to go. Go ahead.
I disagree to the poll too. I think the Sixers. I'll be shocked, to be honest. I'll be shocked if the Sixers made any trades up into the trade deadline. I think the Sixers are going to be more of a buyout team. Look for a player that's on the buyout market to get rather than trade. Because I don't know how many more. What kind of draft picks do you guys have left? Any more first rounders in the coming years, or?
We have 2 at our disposal.
Yep. Gotcha. Okay. So maybe you could use one of those. Maybe use one of those first for a player. But I see the Sixers as more of a buyout team than I do as a trade team coming towards the trade deadline.
Yeah, well said, Ralphie.
Maybe like a guy like. How do you guys feel? I know Trevor Ariza's name's been floating around by getting bought out. How do you guys feel about Trevor Ariza?
Like it
at least being a backup four. You know what I mean?
Like it a
Wouldn't
lot.
hate it.
Great name.
Yeah.
You can stretch the floor enough because this team doesn't I don't want to say they lack it, but they're only making I think 10 threes a game, which I'm not you have to overly shoot the 3 ball, but it'd probably be nice to be around more 12 to 15, right?
Yeah.
12, 2 more a game. They don't need to go crazy and be the Warriors, but I think it's something they're lacking, and they're lacking more from their bench because the only guy that really comes in now, Scott will, but the only other guy that's going to come in and not have a conscience shooting a 3 ball is Ferk. Everybody else, you know what I mean? Nobody's really going to just come in and stroke it from 3 or even shoot it. Maxey likes to get to the rim. Isaiah Joe isn't going to get enough minutes, right? Shake will shoot it, but it's not really his thing per se. He's more likely to get to the basket. So I love a name like Ariza, Ralphie, to be able to stretch the floor a little bit for sure.
Okay, Frank.
All right. Had we lost to Houston, I would have agreed to the poll, but they got the win. I disagreed to the poll. I love what we got so far. Yeah, the loss of Shake kind of really throws a little bit of a wrench during this road trip, but I hope we find a very reliable bench piece without giving up too much, especially that we are first in the East. But I have a lot of faith in Daryl Morey. It's a lot better than, having Brian Colangelo at the helm or Brett Brown at the helm at GM. So I have a lot of faith in Daryl Morey in making a move in this playoff push.
Frank, just curious, what about tonight's loss would have put you over the edge? I'm sorry. Would you have done it regardless of how they lost, or would it have been, hey, they blew a 30-point lead and they lost to an undermanned Rockets team? It's just, that's curious to me.
Right. Had we lost to an undermanned Rockets team, it would have me worried a little bit. But I'm just glad we got the win. That the worries in the past now, but if this 6-game stand, resulted in loss after loss after loss, then we can start hitting the panic button. But I'm just glad we got out of the slump.
No, for sure.
I know people were panicking out there. You lose 3 games in a row. Everybody thinks the sky's falling. It's the NBA. You're on a road trip. I would like to be 2-2. Wasn't ideal, but you'll get out the way you got out of it, and you ended playing strong on a getaway day, as I like to call it. And you played strong with your back up against it without 2 of your top scorers, and you're able to see a guy like Ben take over a game per se, right? I like this basketball team, but I think we're all on the same side. We'll see what Chrome says, but we're all sort of on the disagree side. Not that we need to make one, but just not right this second, as soon as possible. Here, it's the end. If we don't make one, we're not making the playoffs. Cromer, what do you say?
Yeah, see, I'm more on Ralphie's side with this. I disagree to the poll. I don't see this team having to be a big player in the trade market. I'm not thrilled with what we see from the bench. I definitely think that they need a reliable scoring option off of the bench. Another great name by you, Ralphie, with Trevor Ariza. Another name I've liked that's been thrown out there was George Hill as a possibility. I think he would be a good addition, a veteran guy who's been around, has played in the playoffs. I really like his name a lot, but I agree. I think they still have their mid-level exception. They can be players in the buyout market. There's always guys, intriguing names when that rolls around. And, unlike years before, this is now a destination for these guys that we could be a top, if not the top option. Us and probably the Lakers, or I don't know what their cap situation is, Ralphie, you could attest to that. But I think that makes them a very viable option now, having this front office, knowing that this is a place that a guy can come to contribute. And it's not going to cost you a whole lot to be able to do that. I don't think they want to, at this point, if it's not James Harden or any of these names that have been out there, I don't see them parting with any of these young future pieces quite yet.
What about this name right down here? And maybe a week ago, I would have said no. And the more I'm thinking about it and seeing his name get typed in there a couple times right now, I'm more intrigued by it. Because then I think to myself, okay, one, how do I get it done? Because of money-wise. How do I even make that happen and match that? I won't even know. But, does that allow me to move a guy like Danny or Seth to the bench, right? And I'll have that production off my pine. What is that flexibility? So I don't think that's a name that's you're going to have to give up the farm for. You know what I mean? Because he's an older guy. It's just a point maybe you got to give up a first-round pick. And then meet the money somewhere, because I know that deal's coming to an end too. His deal he got 3 years ago, so it's coming to an end. So the money matching won't be as much as if you just signed it, right? Because there's less money on the deal.
It's a great name, Tom, and a little bit later, I'll bring this up in a second, but it would have to be Danny Green. He would have to go in the deal. So I'll give you this, and this isn't.
They're not going to take him back. So
Danny.
Yeah, they're not going to just take that. I mean, I love Kyle Lowry, but they're not going to take him back, and then you're giving up a first anyway. You know what I mean?
Well, you probably have to include at that point. You'd have to include either Matisse or Tyrese to entice them. Yeah. You know what I mean?
The trade,
because they already have the expiring contract. To your point with Kyle Lowry, so if they're just looking to get out, they'd rather probably just hold on to that $30 million versus trading it for another expiring.
Yeah, the trade scenario. This is from one of the big Instagram pages on the Sixers. They put out yesterday. The scenario was Philly would get Kyle Lowry and Bembry, and we would be sending Maxey, Danny Green, Ferguson, Mike Scott, and a first. And it would work money-wise. Would you guys do that?
Lowry and who else?
Bembry.
Oh, he played at Temple.
Yes, I would do that deal.
Sure.
I mean, if you're trying to win a championship this year, then I do that deal. If you're trying to win championship this year and maybe even next year, I do that deal, because Kyle Lowry brings you toughness, he brings you defense, he brings you an identity. Not that we don't have one, but
a little bit of scoring,
just everything, leadership, a champion. I don't give a fuck. I know Kawhi was filthy, but they're all part of that. Okay, He made a lot of big shots in that run, and people used to say he failed in the playoffs. No, his running mate for years came up small in the playoffs, and that's DeMar DeRozan. So when people say Lowry came up small, your facts are all off base. DeMar DeRozan came up small. That's why he was no longer there anymore. Okay, so just to clarify, I would have never gave Kyle Lowry that money 3 years ago. We weren't in that position. And I was critical of people that wanted to. Now, when we're ready to win, I'd rather go that direction than Beal, because I feel like I have to give up less. I have to give up less. And Beal's 28 anyway, or 29. I mean, Lowry's 32 or 33. I mean, what's the difference? He's going to play at a high level until he's 35, because this is the way he's built. He's not built off athleticism. He's built off toughness. So them guys are going to play longer. They'll play to their 35, 36. You know what I mean? Just because that's how he's built. He's not going to be built by having to go around you.
The only slight hesitation I'd have with Lowry is just fit with Ben, right? If we're continuing to see the Ben that we've seen over the last 2-3 weeks, then we're good, right? But if we're seeing the ball dominant, create for everybody else type of player, there seems to be a little bit of fit issue. I think Docs could make that work, but that would be my only slight hesitation. I would still do that deal, but that would be a slight hesitation to me.
The only other slight I would have, Greg, and it's I would do this deal, so it's not keeping me from doing this deal, but it makes me, instead of saying like, oh, I'll just drive them all to the airport, it's giving away Tyrese Maxey for only one guaranteed year of Kyle Lowry. You know what I'm saying? That's the other thing that I'm hesitant of, just because of what. And I'm not crowning Maxey. We all know what Maxey is, what he's shown, and what we think he can be, but I'm just a little hesitant with that. You know what I mean?
So this is why, and again, this is why I look more towards the buyout market. Another name of a guy who looks like he's going to be heading that way is Blake Griffin. So what about a guy like Blake Griffin, adding him? Because it doesn't seem like they're going to be able to trade him. They have sent him home, and it's sounding more and more like he's going to end up being a buyout guy at some point. So that's an option.
With Doc, I think. No, or no.
Is he there in LA with him?
No.
Yes, he was. Yeah, he was. Yeah. The Lob City team was all with them.
Is Blake Griffin willing to come off the bench?
You would have to. Yeah.
I mean, that's on. I'm not moving Tobias out of the 4. So is he willing to come off the bench? Because if he's willing to come off the bench and play 20, 25 minutes a game and less wear and tear and be offense for me and be toughness off my bench, him and Dwight as my 4 or 5, right? I'm starting to have a better identity. Okay, I like that. Now, what am I got to get out the buyout? It's easy. And this is why I agree with Ralphie. I said it on Sunday too, that I don't think the team's trading for anybody. I think there's going to be tons of buyouts because teams are going to try to get out of money. So you capitalize on it because you have, I think, 2 of them spots available, if I'm not mistaken. At least one. I mean, at least one they have. I thought they have 2 buyout options that they can bring in if they want it or something like that.
They've got the mid-level exception to where, like I was talking to somebody last night about it, and they made a good point. There's going to be so many teams on the buyout market for Blake Griffin. It's going to be a bidding war. We could actually afford to pay him more than the minimum because of that exception. And to your point, Tom, about taking him off the bench, we could give him that extra to come off the bench. That way we're making him happy, like, hey, you're not a starter, but you're gonna be in a real good shot to win a championship or get to one, and we're giving you an extra couple mil. Because I think that mid-level exception's up to $7 million.
It's 8.2. 8.2
Oh, so
you want to come to a winner? You want to come to a team that has a chance to compete, and that's what we talked about earlier. Is that destination talk, right? Yep. And players, especially veterans, that are like, shit, man, I want to go get my chip. This is where we become that fit. So, I mean, that's a good name. I don't like his injury-prone side of things, but for 20, 25 minutes a game, I would assume that injury concern goes away a little bit, right? If you can minimize how much he's playing, hence why you rest a guy like Joel Embiid the last night on a road trip, because you're like, screw it, this is going to be a tough game anyway, and then throw him a little bit of curveball too. Like I thought Doc was throwing a little bit of a, an off-speed pitch there by saying he's going to go and then pulling him out last second. Yeah. So now Utah's game planning for Joel Embiid. Then you get another wrinkle, and then Ben goes off for 40. So I thought that was a little cat and mouse, honestly. When after he said he wasn't playing, like, oh, a little cat and mouse talk. Okay, I see you. I see you, Docky. I see you.
So you guys wouldn't be in for adding Griffin to your 4 and putting Danny on the bench, moving Tobias to a 3.
I'm not touching Tobias. The way he's playing right now, I'm not touching it.
Would I be worried about it? No. I mean, I'll do it. I'll do it. I mean,
that's kind of what I envision when I hear the name Blake. Is you plug him in at the 4, you move Tobias to a 3, and either Danny or Seth, whoever one Doc wants to do, goes to the bench, and the other one plays your 2.
Bro, that's a big lineup too.
It is big.
It is.
But it's athletic.
Yeah, I don't know. No, that's what I mean. Like, I don't know how you get out rebounded any night with that lineup. Like, you should never walk out of a gym out rebounded. Ever. I don't give a fuck who you're playing. Like,
and Lord, real quick, we're talking about buyout, Lord. We're not talking about trading him. We're not trading for him.
Yeah, the report is they don't expect to be able to trade him, so they're probably going to look at him as a buyout option.
It would be Nancy Cowan. That's what you want. That's how you strengthen your bench. I mean, there's other guys out there too. Maybe not to his level, but there's other guys out there that are going to be available, and this team's going to go and make a run at. So I'm not the least bit concerned. I'm not concerned about this basketball team, even if you told me this was the team going into the playoffs. Like, this is your healthy roster that we're going in with. I'm not concerned. I got the best player in the NBA when he's on the court. So I'm not worried about it. And what I seen out of my other star the other night, that means something to me. That means something to me. That's the first a guy that he has a little bit of a war with, right? And to have that war and that internal instincts to go after somebody like that, and it's the be aggressive part, right? The constantly go, and that's what I want to see. He got anywhere on the basketball court he wanted. All right, that night against the Jazz, anywhere he wanted, and I don't think it's. I'm not going to say it's a mirage because he's shown more of that, right? I think it's easier, like, for him to go for 40 when there's no Joe and no Milton. You know, there's more shots to go around too. But do I think he could be somewhere in the middle? Like, do I think he could turn a corner on his aggressiveness and be a guy who's in the 20s every night? I absolutely do, because every time he does something like this, he hasn't done this one. This is 40, guys. He hasn't done this. So if you don't think that confidence is an all-time high, right, against a good defensive team in the Utah Jazz, that's not a bad defensive team there. And they got one of the best big men in basketball, especially around the rim, right? So to be able to go and drop 40 on them, I mean, come on. I've been critical of the guy, and everybody else has too, but that's why we have been critical. But I don't need 40 every night. But I think he can be somewhere in the middle and be a guy who's constantly in the 20s, and all this other trade shit and even buyout markets really mean shit if that dude continues to turn the corner.
To your question from earlier, Tom, as far as do we think it's a mirage or do we think this is real and kind of a preview of what's to come? Not the 40, but the aggressiveness and everything. I understand, and people I'm sure are going to roll their eyes. I kind of do, just even thinking about it, because we've been burnt so many times with, the footage of the three-pointers, the gym. I mean, every year it seems like, oh, okay, this is going to be the light switch type thing, right? But the one thing that's different than anything else, aside from the fact that he reached 40, and it was without, again, a jumper, a three-point shot, etc. And he really, if you look at his percentage, he didn't even shoot that well percentage-wise. He just was efficient when he was able to capitalize. The way he talked about it, and we always talk about, listen, post-game press conferences with any sport, it's kind of filler. Talking is one thing, but showing it is the other. But we know many times, as far as our frustrations, is that he wouldn't even acknowledge his non-aggressiveness or his mindset. He would always say the one thing: I'm going to do what it takes to win, whether that's playing defense or facilitating or scoring. He kind of just gave the same filler answer. This is the first time he actually acknowledged, like, I've had like a mental change the last month. I've been working with Doc, and some of the coaches, and talking about working on my mental, talking about being more aggressive. He talked about how it's actually scary to think about where he could be down the line now that he's kind of shifted his mental game to talking about, hey, I can score when I want to, et cetera, et cetera. That's something new from Ben Simmons that he's never even thought about mentioning, in a press conference or at all. Say that again, Tom?
He's growing.
Yes.
It takes players different. They get their confidence is a big fucking thing.
I think it's a sign of culture too, Tom. About, and again,
hold that thought. Don't hold that thought. I want to get to it real quick. There's 48 people watching on YouTube, 14 likes, 1 dislike. Pound the like, pound the subscribe. Let's go. Get the algorithm all fucked up over there and get this video going. Let's go. All right, let's go. I won't have to ask you twice. Okay, I don't have to ask you twice. My fourth time ask. If you don't like me just saying that, then hit the dislike. Just do something. Do something. But no, it's not just Doc. It's Doc. It's Cassell. It's the staff. It's the veterans. It's Danny Green. It's more than just one person that's helping him be accountable and grow. Right? It's more than just one, and I think that's another reason why in the NBA, especially, why you go out and get veterans who have won, because it can help your younger guys.
Sure. I mean, Sam Cassell to me is the biggest addition. I mean, Sam Cassell is out there on the court, working pregame with them, working in practices. To me, he's been and Tom, no surprise. We talked about it before the season started. We would have been fine with Sam Cassell being your
head coach.
Yeah, being the head coach, and we're seeing all those fruits that we thought we could see with him, and wouldn't shock me if they were players in the trade market and the buyout market. I saw somebody say you could end up with Rondo and Blake. I could see them making a deal using some of these expiring deals like Mike Scott and going out and getting George Hill and bringing in Blake Griffin. Now you're really talking about a championship caliber team in terms of those additions. It wouldn't shock me to see them make a move like that. I don't really know if I want a part of Rondo personally, but
What?
What?
I'm just not a Rondo guy. I don't know. I've never been.
I'm a guy who has two rings on his finger.
I got it.
So
I'm just not a Rondo guy.
Don't say that to Ralphie. I mean, my God.
Sorry, Ralphie.
No, Todd, don't be apologetic. Don't be apologetic, my brother. I love you. I love you guys coming into the chat. Now there's 52 people watching. Pound the like over on YouTube. Let's go. Get it. Pound it. Let's go. TJ, yeah, I'll be getting that going soon. But no, you guys, Ralphie, make sure you guys circle the room and talk about the Ben Simmons side of that. You know what I mean? Make sure everybody gets to it. So we don't, I don't want to forget about it.
Ralphie, I want to go to you because you're the outsider in this. So you heard my reaction live to the Simmons thing. I was flipping out. Do you buy into this being a real thing for Simmons, or do you think it's kind of like last December where he had 34 points against the Cavs and he shot a three and we're like, oh my God, this is it, and he never shot a 3-pointer again last season?
I'm kind of on the fence with Ben. If he does it again, then I might be all in on Ben. But you have to see it again, though, right? Because he was out tonight again. He was out tonight, right? Yeah. Against Houston.
Or did he opt out, Ralph? What are you, Marcus Hayes?
No, I'm just saying he was out. You know, Doc Rivers said he's not playing tonight.
Illness.
Oh yeah, the illness.
Stomach flu.
Yeah, I swear to God, what are they eating over there? Everything's a stomach flu with them.
Let's see. They came back from Utah, so probably some Mormon like spiked the Jello or something over there. I don't know, but it's Utah. I don't know.
Ralph, please continue.
If he does it again, I'll just say quickly. If he does it again, I'll be all in on Ben Simmons. But I gotta see it again.
All in on what though? All in on what? On what? Him being able to consistently.
I just need to see him do it consistently every single night.
Being on what though? Him as a player?
Yeah, no, not just as a player, that he can put up those stats every single night.
Gotcha. I was just confirming where you were going. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that's what you were saying.
Well, yeah, but he kind of has though. I mean, while he hasn't dropped 40, his aggressiveness, his willingness to get to the basket, his willingness to get to the line has increased over the last 2 or 3 weeks. He's been a different guy. So yep. I will absolutely buy all into this because this is the guy that we've asked for years. And again, has nothing to do with the jump shot.
Nope.
Or the three-pointer. What I liked the other night was the fadeaway from the post or at the free throw line at the end of a shot clock. He didn't think he had a hot – what's that?
The magic hook. Right?
Yes, and then a magic hook. Like, these are moves that he's done that he can continue to do and has no need to take a three-pointer ever again. And I'm good. But this is a new aggression. He's ratcheted also up on the defensive end, which is getting him even more easy buckets on the offensive end. This is a new Ben Simmons. I'm all in.
Yes, yeah, I would agree with you, Greg, because for me, I've always felt like what can transition him to a great, and I mean great player of his generation, is the foul line. Because if he can improve at the foul line, he's going to get there with the aggression. I feel like the foul line improvement is what's going to also encourage him to go to the basket more because he's going to get fouled. He's going to get more opportunities. His points per game is going to go up. And, I don't need him to score 40 every night. Ryan produced the last show we did on After Dark, and I said on there, if I could cut that in half and I could get 22, 23 pretty consistently throughout, 20 to 23 or 24 points a night on top of the stats he's already putting up, to me, that's everything that you need paired with Ben to be a game changer for him. And that's always going to be the difference. If he can hit free throws, he's going to be able to go to the line. He's going to be able to be even more aggressive. Teams are going to be more reluctant to foul him because that's going to be a higher percentage and obviously giving up more points. So I couldn't agree more. I don't care about the 10 or 15 foot shots. I care about it now when he's not being aggressive. That's when I care about that. But if we continue to see, and you can see it, even when he's missing some of these layups and some of these hooks that he's taken, you're still seeing the volume go up. And that's encouraging. The more he does it, the more adept he'll get to it, and we'll start seeing it more and more. So
I agree with
I'm
Greg.
in too. I'm buying into it.
I agree with what Greg said too, that he's already been starting to turn that corner.
Mhm.
That was just like a whole coming out party.
Yeah.
Frank, go 1 second. 56 people watching on YouTube, 31 likes, 2 dislikes, and 2 losers. But if you're liking what you're listening to, pound the like over there, pound the subscribe, get the algorithm going, and get all our Sixers family in here. Let's fucking go. Frank, go ahead.
Yeah, I really love that 40-point performance. At the start of the season, I had a little bold prediction that Ben Simmons will have a 40-point game. So
I think
dream came true. Finally, we got to see a 40-point game from Ben Simmons, although it was in a losing effort. But
sorry, Frank. Raph, have some fucking respect, please.
Come on, everyone clap. Chrome, get in here. There we go. All right, everybody. Yay.
all right, but
real quick, Frank. Fam at home, every like, that's a clap for Frank. Okay, everyone hit the like button. That's a clap for Frank.
Well, we're at 38 right now, so everyone from here on out, we will give a team golf clap for Frank for every like over on the YouTube from here on out. Just because why not?
okay. Oh, all right then.
Just take it, Frank.
Yes,
I
that was a
guess.
compliment, Frank. Go ahead.
Sure. But yeah, I was really glad I got to see that 40-point effort. It sucked that we lost in that game, but I think it's a sign of better things to come later this season. I hope he, as you said, Greg, that Ben is turning that corner. So I hope he keeps it up. I want to see more of that consistency, as Ralph said, day in and day out. So let's keep it going.
I will ask you.
Sorry, right. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
Just average 20 a game. That's all I got. That's all I need.
Yeah.
18 to 20, with everything else you do, I'm Gooch. Go ahead.
I will say, because I know Chris Dunn put in the comments earlier, and Ralph and we were talking about this the other night, and we kind of heard his reaction because he talked about it in the presser. How much do you guys buy into the trade, like him literally getting called by his agent? They thought it was happening, the Harden trade. How much do you think that bothered him? Because to Chris Dunn's point earlier, ever since then, that's kind of when he turned the corner.
Well, so a lot of what I had read after that was, no animosity whatsoever. I actually had heard a lot of he was relieved because
he was afraid of the trade. He was not. Yes,
might have been a wake up call that we needed. Maybe that had to happen. A lot of times we feel like these guys are going to be, overly sensitive and they're going to take offense to things, and we have seen that in this city. But on the flip side, sometimes it's just exactly what a guy needs, a wake-up call. Like, listen, dude, you're not untouchable. Don't buy into your own hype. We have an expectation here, and we expect you to work for it. And he's showing the effort since then. So,
and that's, to be honest with you guys, we always talk about, I mean, Tom, we've talked about it for years, a lot of us, but that he's sometimes the victim of his own greatness, because ever since he was a kid, he was the star, you know what I'm saying?
Everything came easy to him.
This was probably one of the first times where he was like, oh, okay, I'm not untouchable. I'm not the guy, because there's somebody that is willing to get rid of me. So I'm sure that was big for him. I wouldn't say it's the first time he's faced adversity, because he's had plenty of injuries. I mean, hell, he sat out his whole rookie year. So I don't want to say because that was a headline from one of these publications. Oh, could the trade be the first adversity for Simmons? No, because he's faced a lot of adversity. But I do think it plays into, well, anytime your name comes up in a rumor and then it's like, hey, the agent called you, it looked like it was going to happen, that gets people's attention. I don't care if you're Derrick Rose or Ben Simmons or freaking Korkmaz. That gets your freaking attention that, hey, you're moving from Philadelphia to Houston.
Fuck who you are.
Yes.
If your team's harder moving from Houston and going where you want to go. You know what I mean? Listen, when things are, when you take things for granted, you get complacent. Okay? That's the difference. Greatness never takes anything for granted. Now, they do when they're younger, okay? But as they start to hit that point, they don't take things for granted. And maybe that's like that first step to, well, I thought I was going to be here forever. Uh-oh. Right? And then maybe, and not just that either, just natural growth and progression that we all felt like was going to come. But no, I think he's a guy who can walk himself into 20 a night with no problem, without a jumper. And I think you're going to see throughout the year, you're going to see some more of it. And you've probably already seen some more jumpers than you probably thought you were going to see this year. So, I mean, listen, I agree with, I forget who said it about the free throws. It might have been Chrome, but dude, go 80% from the line and you're a complete player. Like
75. Give me 75% from the line.
I think he's around there this year. Like this year, he's been shooting it pretty well. If my mind's right.
67, I want to say.
Yeah, I don't think he's quite at 75. That's better than he was, though. That's a hell of a lot better than he was 2 years ago.
He was
consistent. He feels more consistent, if that makes sense. But I know 1 year, it might have been last year, he was shooting it pretty well from the line.
67, so 67 round up.
And what was he last year? 70?
Last year he was 62.
Well, what was the year before that? Because 1 year
60.
Okay, so he's got.
It was just down the stretch last year. He was shooting it very well.
Yeah.
Yep. So now you're talking about 60, 62. You're talking about progression, right? So you're talking about Chrome to that point. Maybe not this year, but in the following year, this guy's going to be walking into a 75%, 80% free throw shooter because he showed them jumps every year. And then when he starts making them with ease, guess what happens then? Then everything else starts to come with that game because now your confidence of watching it constantly go through brings out the rest of your jumper. But the funny thing about his jumper is it's never looked bad.
Yeah.
No,
it doesn't look bad.
It's been a smooth jumper. Like he has a nice jump shot for a big guy. It's just that he never shoots the ball.
Yeah.
You know,
you guys.
It's like me. I'm a big guy with a nice jumper, but I don't shoot the ball.
We've seen you shoot.
Jumping.
You went 0 for 90 over at Chrome's.
The only jumper you're good at is into a pool, bro.
No. Yeah, that wasn't
either. That's what we're talking about, Greg.
Listen, I was Ralphie's teammate. He had a little stroke.
Not a jumper in the pool. He's jumping into the pool.
No, but then he'll get cramps like at Chrome's last year.
Yeah,
he was trying to swim.
Well, that was racing. That was racing, Frank.
You know what? Greg had to repeat the joke and so didn't get what he wanted out
Yeah,
of it.
no.
Yeah, that was terrible.
This man.
Tough. Redo. We didn't hear nothing. Homer Simpson.
I will ask you guys, because I never would have expected, maybe this is like a one-off. Oh, bye, Greg. Yeah, he's going to find more jokes. He's going to find more jokes.
55 people watching on YouTube, 38 likes. Let's go. Pound the like button.
It's up for two to Frank.
How many shots do you think he put up on Monday, by the way, in that Utah game?
It was 17.
Nope.
I think we're like 20-something.
26. 26 shots.
Yo, and shake, yeah.
No, but still, he could be on the court by himself, and I wasn't expecting that. You know?
No, you're right. You could have just left him out there 1 versus 5, and he probably would have just opted out as a daily. He would have opted out of it.
Literally a month ago, Tom, we were screaming on shows that he only shot 4 times. We were just saying, hey, get us to 8. We would have been fine with 8 shots. He had 26. So that's what I'm saying. Shoot 10 times a game, 15 times a game. That you're cutting it in half.
Yeah, 26. So you say what we were saying before. If you give us, you give us 15 shots minimum, at worst 12. At worst, we should be walking into 15 a night. And I don't want that to take away from the other stuff he does well, right? So I don't want you shooting 25 times a night because I don't need you to. But it's what I've always talked about: time and place, right? Time and place. That night was time and place. Okay. When Joe's not on the court, I need you to be a dog. And that was the first sign of no Joe, where he was a dog in terms of scoring.
Mm-hmm. And you guys were talking about, the trade having some sort of effect. I mean, how often do we talk around sports about, hey, this guy's, we're getting this guy on a change of scenery. This guy needs a change of scenery, right? It's that same kind of shakeup to their mentality that, all right, he didn't have that change of scenery, but maybe he had a change of scenery in his head. I don't want this to happen. I like it here. I can win with Joe. I like playing with Joe. Because if you notice, too, his excitement to play seems to have risen as well. Mm-hmm. He looks like a different guy on the court. He almost looks like he's having fun again.
Yeah. Well, and I think the other thing, too, is that when you look at Simmons, right? I mean, how many times have we said, hey, Ben, we need you to step up? and he hasn't done it. And we would be ranting and raving. This was one of those instances to where he answered the bell. He answered, and it was huge. And I understand, like, I saw people in the comments being like, well, guys, they didn't win. We understand that. But I think, and I'm not saying only Philadelphia fans can understand this, but
Hold on. Who's saying they didn't win, and what does that have to do with nothing when it comes to him? If you're talking about some random Joe Schmo, then go fucking head. But you're talking about a guy who doesn't shoot the ball 26 times a game, who hasn't scored 40 before. So I don't care if we lost by 200. Like, you know what I mean? It's already cut back in there, but I don't care if we lose by fucking 5,000. The fact that he scored 40 is big.
It's something we've begged to see. Listen, we begged to see friggin' 30. We got to 44. You know what I'm saying? And the other thing I've noticed, and it wasn't just based off of this game, but it's starting a trend, right? We saw it against the Lakers, right, when he's playing Bron. You saw it against, obviously, the Jazz when he's going up against Mitchell, and he said afterwards he felt, quote, disrespected by, when he was guarded by Rudy Gobert. Mm-hmm. It's like when Simmons has these extra incentives, you know what I'm saying? Like when there's like an extra little storyline, you know what I'm saying? Like against LeBron, against Mitchell, there's a couple other instances that I can bring up, but do you think maybe there's something there where it's like, okay, well, Simmons needs that extra little thing to lock him in?
No, I was saying that earlier. I don't think it's like he needs it to lock him in. I think it's a good sign that he uses, the things that happened in the past as motivation, and it comes out as aggressiveness like we want. So, like, sometimes players got to find them things, right? Mm-hmm. Jordan used to find things that were made up. Yep. Just to go drop 40 on your ass or 50 on your ass. So,
especially over a long season. Absolutely, Tom.
Yep, that's all I had on that. But yeah, that's my thoughts on that.
The other Sand says, is it fair to say Embiid is holding Ben back? No. Absolutely not.
No,
absolutely not.
Never having that conversation again. Like, nobody's holding each other back. The only thing holding Ben back was Ben.
Yeah, mm-hmm. He was becoming, like you said, and technically he wasn't doing anything wrong. He would be doing something wrong if, like, Embiid was either out or having a bad night and he didn't step up. That he would be wrong in. But Simmons has said, and we've seen it, when Embiid's there or Tobias is playing well, he's going to play within the offense, which is facilitator. He's going to be the defensive stopper, and he's going to be the facilitator.
He doesn't need the ball. He doesn't need to shoot 20 times to have a presence.
Nope.
Right. A lot of guys need to.
Yep. I completely agree.
A lot of guys need to.
Chris Dunn says, free throws is our way to a championship. We are a big team. We must use our advantages. Doc knows it. Well, Tom, what was the game you and I were watching on here last Tuesday? Was that against Sacramento?
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. That felt like.
Yeah.
It felt like a year ago, didn't it, Tom?
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last Tuesday.
Yeah. I'll give you guys that story too. But yeah, that was a Sacramento game. That was a crazy night. That was a wild ride after that one.
Yeah.
Wild ride for this guy after that one. Jeez, my own. And I sort of felt it. But go ahead. Yeah. Talk about that.
Well, what I was going to say was we were saying on the air, and the fan, they agreed with us at the time. The biggest thing that was holding us back in that first half is that Joel didn't get to the line a lot. You know what I'm saying? We didn't see that. We also saw it against the Timberwolves when they were hanging around. As soon as we flipped the switch and it was, okay, pass it to Embiid, down low, dominate. He's either going to finish at the rim, get the N1, or go to the line for two, which he's very good at. I'm not saying that needs to be the offense all times, but you see, to Chris Dunn's point, living at the line is huge. And that's why, like, I got in an argument with people on our Instagram on Monday before the Ben Simmons game. I've said it before. I don't give a damn about the jumper. If he does it, great, because then he's going to be a top 5 player in the world if he puts it all together. No question about it. But if he has the aggressiveness, and if he does, he's going to get to the line because they're going to foul him. There's going to be contact. And plus, he does have the capability to post up and do what he was doing on Monday, which is play the 5 a little bit. If he's getting to the line and he capitalizes, he's going to get to 40. Or at the very least, if Joel's in there, he's getting to 20 like that. He got to friggin' 19 in the first quarter.
Yeah, 70 people watching, 46 likes on YouTube. Going to need you to pound that like. Hit the subscribe. Turn your alerts on with us. Join us. Shows every night. All right, all kinds of different stuff. Not just Eagles and Philadelphia talk. We got 2 wrestling shows, dedicated hockey show, combat sports, everything in one stop shop here. Yeah, Jesse, maybe a top 3 player in the world, but we already have one of them guys.
Mm-hmm.
And Ben just needs to be great at what Ben's great at, right? And then continue just to develop and slowly get better like he has. We're in a rush in this city, and rightfully so. We won championships. Okay, we're about Broad and Patterson. We're not about bullshit. Okay, and we know the only way to get there is his progression. We've seen the big man's progression, but what happens if there's a game where Joel has to miss? That's where I need the Ben progression, where you're like, okay, we're missing our best player, but we still got a star here that can take over a game. And to say that them two can't play together, they run the pick and roll in the post actually really well together. If you watch it,
it's phenomenal.
They don't run it well outside of there, but down there they run it really well. And if the time comes where they can run it, at the elbow, then it and expand it a little bit, it's even going to get better. So, Chris, I agree to times now, but the time isn't really now. That you have a 4-year window, Chris. All right, and I know that doesn't sound great, but you have a 4-year window to win 4 of them, like starting right now, which I agree with you. But it's not like now, and if you don't win it now, it's done. Like, to me, 2021 medicine, players, opt-outs, okay? Allow guys like Joel to play at a high level until he's 32, 33, 34. Like, I just don't believe that he's not a guy who averages a point a minute at the age of 33 and 34. I just don't believe it. Too athletic not to. Now, am I going to say he's going to play 82 games at that point in his career? No. But shit, if Ben's the guy and Joel's playing, 60, 65, you're still in good shape. So, I don't think the window's like closing. It's actually opening up right now. And we have to look at it like that. And that does put pressure on us to have to go finish off a bench or make a splash or do some of them things that are going to get you over the top. Or you value this team and you say, besides buyouts, we're gooch. And we're going to go to fucking work with what we got because, our starting 5 is good together. And we've shown to be able to win games like tonight. I don't give a fuck who you're playing without shaking Ben. I mean, that's not easy to do. I don't give a shit who you're playing in the NBA. I don't care.
And I'll tell you what, tonight showed me how important the offensive ability of Matisse Thybulle can be if he's able to turn that corner. Because we all know the defensive side, right? But he plugged into the starting lineup, and it didn't almost feel like they missed a beat, right? Obviously they did. But because he was so long and lengthy on defense, causing issues for John Wall, and his ability to hit a couple open shots, specifically threes, just turned that game around. And that's what he can bring if he has a pulse on offense.
And you saw he shot one, right? With the clock ran out on him.
Yeah.
Ate it. And then it almost gave him a not a false sense of confidence, but some confidence. And for a young guy who's not an offensive guy yet, like Matisse, that's a positive. And you're right. I mean, he only took 2 shots, but he made a 3, gave you 5 points. But tonight early on, Danny Green was a big factor in that.
Yep.
Just to have 4 from 6 from 3, he was hot for a minute, and Tobias being Tobias again, Mr. Consistency with another 24 piece, and he had 15 rebounds.
Yeah, he's a monster tonight.
And Joel on an off night still scored 31 with back tightness. So don't tell me this dude can't play with 30-4. He scored 31 against DeMarcus Cousins, who still can play defensively. Okay, scored 31 against them on an off night where he was still 10 for 21. Okay, and if he didn't miss his free throws like he did tonight, he probably would have 35 points. Okay, so I don't want to hear that he can't not the Chris, but the window's closing in the next 4 years either. I mean, this is a 5-year, 6-year window here. He's 26 years old. Do the math.
Yeah.
You got 6 years at least with this window. So
I was hoping he'd get the trip.
So build it. Right? Build it. Don't. If Maxey's a guy that you think is going to be a quick developer, don't get rid of him. If Matisse is the guy that you believe next year is going to be even better, don't get rid of him. You don't have to do shit. Just go to the buyout market and call it a day like Ralphie was talking about earlier. You don't have to trade assets because who the fuck is pressing you to win a championship right now? They weren't our expectations this year. And anybody that had expectations of being down broad was to me, was a little delirious, right? Our expectations were what, boys? We all said it. Eastern Conference Finals appearance. We won't be happy if we lose, but it's progression. It's
the next
progression.
step.
Yeah, I just think getting out of the second round is a big step. You know,
Fucking first.
Nice. Yeah.
First.
I know we said, no trades are necessary, but what I have.
You just can't help.
Jesus, here we go.
This guy.
They're not mine. They're not mine. They're not mine.
I mean, listen.
The trade machine is out.
They're not mine. They're not
Never
mine.
yours. There's no accountability here.
Look.
This guy loves trades.
They're screenshots. They're not. I didn't make that graphic.
You went and found it. You went and found it, right, Ralph?
Yeah, he did.
Listen, I was scrolling. Listen.
That was what they are.
Listen, I won't do the Bielitsa one. I'll skip that one. All right, I'll skip that one.
Oh boy.
They're
Just
lower.
go
level
ahead and
ones.
do it. Do the Zach
I
Levine
want to
one.
get in. I want to get in the Eagles talking.
Just do it.
So let's get through this because I want to do some Eagles conversation.
So we'll do a little accept or decline talk. Okay. The first one, we would get George Hill and Mike Muscala.
He's back.
Yeah, again, I know. And Oklahoma City would get Mike Scott, Terrence Ferguson, and a first.
So you bring Terrence Ferguson back? So
Terrence Ferguson goes back. I mean, yes, I would do
They
that.
would do it for that first rounder. They would do it for that first rounder.
Oh, hey, Terrence. We didn't mean to trade you the first time.
That was a mistake.
Oh,
back,
same thing, Moose. We didn't mean to do it. Yeah, no.
No, I don't
No.
do that trade. No.
Anybody? Greg? Chrome? No?
I'd think
What was
about
that?
it just because of George Hill, but I
Yeah.
wouldn't give up a first for him.
George Hill and Muscala would be getting Chrome, and we'd be giving up Scott, Ferguson, and a first.
I'm not giving up a first for them.
Okay. The next one, Houston would be getting Korkmaz, Tony Bradley, Mike Scott, and a first. We would be getting Tucker, Daniel House, and a second.
For what again?
Cork, Bradley, Scott, and a first.
Yeah.
Yep.
See you later. Yeah.
I pulled the trigger on that one. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't care about the first, really. It's just got to be like.
It's got to
mean,
make
that's
sense.
at
It's
least
got to make
play.
sense.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, Eddie House can shoot it enough. I mean, I don't love what they're giving me back, but I'm not giving anything up outside of Ferk. I mean, I do like Ferk, and I would like to be able to keep him and just do the buyout game, but I mean, that's why, because
Tucker's 35 though.
yeah, that's the problem. And he's out right now too. And I like PJ, but he's out now. He's hurt.
No, I like the names. Absolutely, I completely agree. Donnell House can shoot it well, but is he really a guy? Willing to give up a first for? Because you're not giving up a first for Tucker, who's hurt in 35.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. But I would do it because you're giving up nothing. So why the fuck not? But
And I think that first ends up, could be in like 2027. So I don't think it has to be anytime soon.
true. And again, you still want your first right now because I'm going to continue to say you're trying to create a dynasty over the next 6 years.
Yep,
The only way you're doing that is continuing to replenish. You're not doing what Howie Roseman did. There's a reason we don't have a ton of bench pieces. We traded a lot of them to try to win. We did this game. We tried it. It didn't work.
You don't want to pull a 2019 or a 2009 Phillies type thing where we just sold
I'll do that
everybody
all day. I'll trade prospects all day when it comes to baseball. You know what I mean? Picks. But like this situation.
Oh yeah, baseball is different. I'll trade as many prospects as you want for a star player. Yeah, absolutely.
This is different though, right? Because this is like because of the buyouts, you're just not forced to do any of this shit for like names like these.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For names like okay,
Yeah.
give us another one, then we'll give us some more, and then we'll get the Eagles.
This one, we would be getting Laurie Markkinen on an expiring contract, so we'd only be getting him on a rental. Garrett Temple and a second rounder for Thibault, Maxey, and Scott.
Ugh.
No,
I wouldn't.
No, I'm not
No.
doing that. I'm not doing that.
Both Matisse and Maxey. No, I'm good.
No,
You got to keep one.
I'm
You
not.
got to keep one of them.
Yeah, go ahead, Kramer. Sorry.
I'm just saying you have to keep one of them, and I mean, you can't give up both of your young guys at that
I
point.
like
You're
Markkinen.
really setting yourself behind. You're going to have young guys who can produce on this team. You can't. Yeah, there is a cap in this league, and those guys are going to be at least one of those guys is going to be pivotal moving forward.
Listen, you have to develop players.
Right, exactly.
Develop young talent. If you're constantly drafting young talent, you're trading it away. I mean, you got to fucking steal at 21 with Matt. Why in the hell would you want to deal that unless you're getting like
a star player?
Like I got to package
like
him.
A superstar. If you're have a trade set up for a superstar, then by all means, Steibel and Max, you're going.
Yep,
it's just how it is.
Well, especially I'm not doing it. If it was 5 years of marketing, that'd be one thing. It's a half a season of marketing.
And to me, that's like a Billy King type of deal that you would expect to see. You know, the whole point of the process, right, is they wanted to be like the Spurs. They wanted to have sustained success, that they're in the top 1 to 4 teams, not in that mid-level hell of being in 5, 6, 7, and 8 in the playoffs. So they're basically, you're too good to not go after, not try to compete, but you're not bad enough to
you're a
tank.
6th, 7th, and 8th seed every year, but you're knocked out in the first round.
It's like you have to try to compete, but you're not good enough to win. And
you're
kind of stuck.
Yep.
The whole point was to get to that. And part of being able to be a top 1 to 4 team every year in and year out, is to develop young players and turn over as the core gets older. You can't get rid of both guys.
Cromer. I mean, think about how much they did down there in San Antonio of that, right? And you're right. Like Maxey becomes a huge impact guy for you next year. You know what I'm saying? And you're like,
or even if it's 2 or 3 years from now, like you can't do that.
And another thing the Spurs did really well is that they let, like you guys were talking about, they let their young talent grow into Hall of Famers and superstars, right? Obviously, with Tony Parker and drafted Tim Duncan, they didn't move on from them, or Ginobili. Whenever they had a deal lined up, they let those young guys grow, and obviously they turned into superstars and Hall of Famers.
And then then they had the next wave, the Kawhi.
And then Kawhi came, right? Yeah. You flip George Hill for Kawhi, and then Kawhi turns into a superstar. So I mean,
yeah, and we did the all-in game before, and it didn't work out for us, right?
Yeah.
So, like we're gonna try that again. Like, think we can just superstar load it and win? Like, it doesn't work like that. You know what I mean? Chemistry matters. We have superstars. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We really do have 3, like, honestly, top 30 players in the NBA in our starting 5. Because Tobias' consistency right now puts him in that conversation as a top 25 guy in the league right now. Tobias Harris is top 25, 30 if we want to go a little further. All right? Them 3 guys are top 30 guys in the league. I don't care what anybody says. That's why you're in first place. Huh.
Agreed.
That's so. I mean, we're good, right? So how do you just build around them 3 guys, and none of them? The oldest guy's 28 years old.
It's true. I'll give you one more.
Scary.
There's 2 more, but I'm only going to give you the one because the other trade I absolutely hate. It's a 3-teamer. Sacramento, and once again, it's not mine. So, Sacramento would be getting Mike Scott and Terrence Ferguson. The San Antonio Spurs would be getting Danny Green and a first, our first. And we would be getting Patty Mills and Nemanja Bjelica. It's not mine, Frank.
Ryan, are you sure this isn't yours, Ryan?
Look, it's not mine.
Oh, my God.
It's not mine.
No.
Ryan, you doing
I'm
content
going
somewhere else,
I'm
Ryan?
going no.
I love me some Patty Mills,
I love
but
Patty
I'm not
Mills
doing
too,
that.
Greg, but I'm not. Yeah, I'm with Greg. I love Patty Mills. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I don't think I make that move either.
No.
As badly as Ryan wants Bjelica,
It's happening. It's freaking happening. Okay, it's happening, and I'll get the jersey. Listen, it's happening.
Table though. I mean, I just like what Danny Green brought to this locker room and this team. It's almost like hard to part ways with him, even though he's not great. You know what I mean?
I look at him too as
Always running like he's got to take a shit.
It's not the Robert Horry level per se, but I look at him as a guy that when playoffs roll around, that's the kind of guy you want in your locker room. That's the kind of guy you're going to want out on the court when those moments really, really matter with that experience. And I think that's invaluable.
Yeah, true.
No, it is. He just frustrates the hell out of me when he can't hit a shot.
Yeah,
hey, at least would you rather have JJ Redick to where if he doesn't hit a shot,
No, we're done. We're good.
Else?
We're good on that conversation. We're good.
Yeah.
I mean, he is tough.
No, absolutely. He's
JJ
rough,
Redick
he's
for
rolling.
first.
I'll love JJ Redick forever, but he has no place on this team. He fits nowhere.
Yeah.
And again, like you said, we're talking about we need guys. The main issue with the bench, it's not just the scoring, it's the inability to stop the other team from scoring. You need to have a two-way player coming off of the bench that can put the ball in the hoop and that can stop the other team from scoring. Because the plus minus is absolutely insane when the bench comes in. It's terrible. And they have to find a way to adjust for that.
And we saw that tonight. They coughed up the game tonight.
Yeah, I mean, JJ Redick does nothing for. If anything, he actually exacerbates that whole situation.
Pick and roll handoffs with Joel's going to come back with JJ if you get him.
Freaking most predictable play in the history of basketball.
Well,
JJ's on the court. We know what he's doing.
Yeah. Pick and roll, Joel and JJ.
What are we talking about on Sunday, Greg? There's no identity on the second unit.
Yep.
It's like, what do you do well? Do you play great defense? No. Do you shoot the three ball well? No. Do you score at a high rate? No. So what's your identity defensively? I mean,
even Dwight's regressed,
which is expected, but I think he's regressed too because I mean, look what's out there.
Now that's another thing
really there
too.
Around him, I agree.
His plus minus is not great.
And going back on the Kyle Lowry thing too, is that if you guys do trade for him, does he start? Does he come off the bench? I mean, I guess he would have to start, right?
You have to start Kyle Lowry. You're gonna at that point you move Danny Green.
He goes back to Toronto.
Well, and Ralphie, he would be starting by default because Danny Green would have to go in the deal.
Correct.
To make the money work.
So then Seth goes to the bench.
No, Lowry would play.
Seth, yeah,
we'd be really small if Seth doesn't go to the bench.
So what would the five?
You'd probably have to. You'd probably have to go
Ben, Kyle.
It would go Ben, Kyle. You probably Matisse, Tobias, and Joel. Because if you have Danny out there, that means you're playing two guards. You know what I mean?
Unless you followed it up with, like we talked about before, like a Blake Griffin buyout, and then you put him in there. But then it's the same thing where the bench is all weird. Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting what that would look like. I don't think the Lowry trade's happening, so I don't expect us to really have to worry about it too much.
Anybody watching the French Open, by the way? Go Osaka.
No, I'm watching
hockey.
Yeah.
Sand says
I got Osaka winning the Australian Open. So
isn't she like 10-0 in like championship things?
Beating the shit out of Serena right now.
Oh, I like.
Is she?
Yeah.
Wow.
Let's segue here to a little Eagles talk. And obviously, there's been rumor after rumor after rumor after rumor regarding Carson Wentz, and it's pretty obvious that this organization doesn't value him like some of us do. And I don't know if they meant for that to be quick and happen this fast, right? But it has. Okay, I don't know if that was their plan from the beginning. I don't think they're smart enough to think like that.
No,
right?
No shot.
They were planning on moving him in 2 or 3 years, but from what I'm really hearing from somebody close to the Wentz situation is that a deal's done with him going to the Bears. Now, what is that deal? What does it entail? I don't know.
What up, superhero? Thanks for coming over, brother.
Appreciate you, brother. This is my problem. Okay. And this is all I'm going to say. I'm not going on a rant about it because I just don't have the patience. But this is just, to me, it's a sad day when this does happen. And not because you're like Team Carson or whatever. You're Team Eagles. And the reason it's a sad day, it's an organizational fucking failure. That's why it's a sad day, peeps. Not because of anything more than that. This is the guy that they use assets for to go up and get. This same guy, same owner, same GM, same everything.
Tommy, just one spot, 2 spots to go up and get this guy.
Yep, they had to move up. They had to move up twice to go get him.
Yep.
Okay. So, all right, I don't want to hear that, Jalen, I don't want to hear any of that because that's not the point. The point is they messed up. And now they're going to have to pay the price for messing up. And we'll see what they get back. If they get a Roquan Smith back or something like that, there's ways that you can make me happy. But like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, okay, you're not going to wow me, I'm sure, but you can at least make me wrap my head the fuck around it. Because right now, like if you're getting 2 seconds, go punch yourself in the dick. Okay, do us all a favor and square your dick up if you even have one, Howie. Okay, because my newborn probably has a bigger one than you, and that's sad to say. All right, that's where you're at. So I don't know where this organization plans on going. I know the guy below me is all in on a quarterback in the first round. I just can't buy that.
I can't believe it.
But whatever.
I told you, start marking the footage. It's happening.
Yeah, you can mark your footage all day. All right.
Justin Fields. I keep saying Josh.
I'm
Justin
out.
Fields.
I'm out.
It's going to happen, though. That's going to be the quarterback that's going to be sitting there.
My point is there anything that wows you that you're going to get back? And yeah, you know what? Yeah, TTP. I mean, a source or two. He's gone. He's gone. Unless something. I mean, there's always a way for a deal to fall through. Sorry, always a way. So, take it for what it is.
If the news comes out, say, when it happens, and it's a first and Fuller, you happy with that, Tom? I mean, obviously, we're not going to be thrilled with any. I mean, the situation sucks, but are you satisfied? I don't even think "satisfied" is the right word.
But I like Fuller, but isn't he up there though in age? I feel like he's right around 30, which isn't old.
26.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think.
No.
He's still young. I think.
No, it's Kendall Fuller.
No, Kendall Fuller.
Kendall. Yeah.
Well, the wrong Fuller came up. 1 second.
I mean, look up Eddie Jackson if you want to look somebody up. I mean, in their backfield. I want a ball hawk.
26.
Yeah, I'd rather have. How old's Eddie Jackson? Because I'd rather have Eddie Jackson.
Eddie Jackson.
You guys ever see Howie Roseman's high school picture?
Rather not.
I'm sure he looks like an idiot. 27.
Oh yeah, give me Eddie Jackson then.
Send me that Chrome. I'm going to meme that to death. Thank you.
Oh boy. Yeah, I mean, no, Tom, you're right. The biggest shock and the biggest issue is what we did to get Carson and what we invested in Carson to be the guy. And now you're just giving all that up. You're absolutely right. But forget the draft already. You just signed him to a $100 million deal last year.
It just, Greg, this whole thing, it
this
just doesn't make sense.
You're absolutely right, Ralph. And Tom, you said it too. This has nothing to do about Team Carson versus Team Jalen. We just invested so much into this guy to be the guy. And we're just going to be like, yeah, here you go. Maybe we'll get a first back for him. Maybe we'll get it boggles my mind.
I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because it's I can't believe it's happening. We got 5 years of this guy, and after one bad year, the franchise is I don't know if he could be a franchise guy anymore. Let's put him on the block.
Yeah, and listen, Jesse, this is supposedly from his lawyer. So you take that for what it is, that it's the Bears. Okay, I don't give a shit. I mean, I'm not. I've always said don't hide source. I think that's horseshit. You hide behind things. Supposedly it's from his lawyer. So, that's the message I got. Take it for what it is. But
I'll tell you right now, if Carson Wentz goes to the Bears and decides to sit out with the Bears, he will be the ultimate villain in the entire National Football League, and I don't think that's Carson's personality. He may not be thrilled about going to the Bears, but
he's going to play.
He gets traded. He's going down there and he's playing, and he can't half-ass it. He's got to build his stock.
I don't understand why you wouldn't be thrilled going to the Bears or the Colts.
I'm just saying, if there's any truth to that, whether he is or not, if they move him to the Bears, he's going. He's going to play. He's not a half-ass guy. He's got to rebuild himself.
Yeah, both teams are missing one thing: a quarterback. I mean, the Bears defense is ready to win. Okay, the Colts are ready to win. So they're both just missing one specific thing, and that's a quarterback. So to me, he's the missing link for these teams. Now, is our defense going to be as good if they give us Roquan Smith or Eddie Jackson or Fuller? Is that going to be as good? No. But we know how important the quarterback position is. So, I mean, yes, would he rather go to the Colts probably, play indoors? Maybe. But he's got the arm strength to play in Chicago. So
he'd instantly be the Bears' greatest quarterback of their franchise.
Well, and that's first thing. So it's actually Kyle Fuller, who's 29. It brought up every Fuller but the one we were talking about. So it would be Kyle Fuller, he's 29. That would be the guy that I was talking about. Two, to Don's point, is Allen Robinson leaving? He's either going to re-sign or they're going to franchise tag him to where they have no plans on getting rid of him or letting him walk. And Mikey says, as a Bears fan, we don't want him. I'm not saying Wentz is the best candidate or prospect out there, but who do you want as the quarterback? Then is my question. You know what I'm saying? Like, are you fine with Trubisky? Because to Tom's point, it's not like they'd be sending Carson to the Jets or the Texans. Like, if you look at Trubisky's winning percentage, and again, I think Trubisky flat out sucks. Chrome knows that. They've won a lot of games with Trubisky.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they've gone to the playoffs with Trubisky.
We said it on draft night.
Yeah, the Bears fans in the photo booth weren't happy.
Superhero says, I trust the source, but also wait, see if it's official. I'm right with you. And I said the source, so I'm right with you. I'm not crowning it. Saying, Donovan, we appreciate you, baby.
Donovan, my guy.
And Mikey, I know Trubisky's a free agent. My point is, who, if not Wentz, who?
Going to be Foles.
Yeah. Or are you banking on Deshaun Watson? You think that's happening?
Or they draft one.
Where are the Bears picking this year?
20.
They are 20.
Oh, that's a far jump. That's a far jump.
I can tell you right now, the Bears don't have the capital to pull off a Deshaun Watson deal. Not with what some of these other teams in on him are ready, locked and loaded to throw at the Texans. It's to me, it's Jets and Miami. That's it. Conversation ends. Nobody else has the capital they have. So
No.
I think it's a panic.
No, you're right there. No one has the capital for that.
It's a panic move. It's the whole downfall of the fan base crushing the team all year. Capitalize that on the fact that I think it accelerated the process, because I still think there was a chance he would have come back, but I think it accelerated the process. And Howie and Jeffrey Lurie went 6 to midnight when they saw what the Stafford deal went for, and said, "Well, we're going to do it. Let's just do it now. Get it done. Let's get the most we can, because this may not be a trend for very long that we can move these quarterbacks with these big deals." And I think that that's really the reactionary tale of this. So this is an ultimate organizational failure. Ultimate failure. This is at the levels of Reggie White. This is at the levels of Charles Barkley getting traded from the Sixers. This, especially if he becomes close to the guy he was here, specifically in those first 3 years, absolute organizational failure. It's a disgrace, and I'm embarrassed to be a fan of my organization that allows us to happen.
And I think a move like this will set the franchise back several years in search of a quarterback. I think we'll be in limbo on finding our franchise quarterback. The next couple of years of draft classes, like, should I be excited for Keaton Slovis? Like, a USC quarterback? Who's our next generation of quarterback? Arch Manning, who's still in high school? We got to wait till 2026 to find that guy in Arch Manning. And I'm not ready to go get Arch Manning. I want my franchise quarterback in Carson Wentz here. I don't want this trade to happen, damn it.
Everybody thinks that going out and finding a
Frank.
franchise quarterback is easy. And I'll tell you what. Ask the Dolphins how long it took for them to find and they're still looking for a franchise quarterback.
They still haven't found it.
Marino retired. The Jets. When's the last time the Jets had a franchise quarterback? There's a lot of teams in this league who have been searching multiple decades for a franchise quarterback. So when we had the luxury of having two with Donovan McNabb,
dude, look at the Rams.
Yep.
Look at the Rams.
The
Rams thought they were set on Goff. Number 1 pick, got to the playoffs, got to the Super Bowl, and he's out the door.
Wait a second. Didn't the Rams also trade up to make that move for Goff?
They did.
They traded up with
No, they were there.
Did they?
No, they were there. They were there.
Gotcha.
No, I thought they traded up because I think the Titans originally had the pick, and then the Rams traded up to get.
Where were the Rams originally? Did they go up a lot? Either way, you go to number 1, you're giving up shit.
Yeah, they gave up a lot, I believe.
I believe they were 7-9 the year before they did that, so they were going. So they were middle of the pack.
Yeah, they were
middle
of the pack. Let me figure this out.
Chrome, bring up what you were saying on After Dark about talking about Miami, Mr. Wentz.
No, Cleveland had the first overall pick, and then they
about the fit there.
Right.
Yep.
As a dark horse.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, and it's not just me being, a Miami guy. To me, that would be a no-brainer for Miami to make that move. I don't think it costs you as much as a Deshaun Watson. I think having the defense that they have there, having the weapons they have there, the head coach, who I believe could transform the quarterback and get him back to where he was, to me, it's an ideal spot. You swap your picks and at the top of the draft. You take number 18. You get Carson Wentz back. No brainer for me. And get Tua back and whatever. You have Tua and Hurts back together.
Oh,
Who cares about that? I mean, honestly, Ryan, for me, if you guys watch Birds of a Feather, our poll question last week was about Carson Wentz, and the Jeff, who's on there with us, disagreed to the poll. It was, are you going to get a first round pick for Carson Wentz? He said disagree, and he talked about trading. You have to trade Wentz, and because of the controversy and the storm that comes. And here's the thing, right? And this is kind of going along with Jalen Hurts, having Jalen Hurts and say it to him, right? When is the last time this organization didn't have a major controversy going on in the year? It was Chip Kelly. It was things with Donovan McNabb. It was T.O., a major distraction. Every year that I can remember over the last 15 years, there has been a major distraction or controversy in this city. It was Nick Foles. It was when we traded up so much to go and get Carson Wentz. It was when you had Mike Vick here after serving jail time. It was Nick Foles being removed after this great rookie year where he set rookie records. Every year there's an issue in this city. So when I hear people say, well, he's a distraction, you don't want to go into it next year. Who fucking cares? Every year we go in with a distraction. That's honestly how this organization is not happy unless there's some kind of turmoil, unless they're the team that's on the tip of everybody's lips going into the year.
For
Good,
what?
bad, or indifferent.
For what? Not even going into the year. The year just got done.
Controversy makes cash. And I believe Jeffrey Lurie buys into that. Controversy makes cash.
Bro, you're talking about not even to start the year off. The year just got done, and they love it. They want to be front page news daily,
Everywhere.
daily, and they live off of it. They live off of attention, and I think that I don't think this. I know this to be fucking true too. That the early reports were leaked from Howie Roseman and the organization to draw interest. Exactly why they didn't expect it to blow up in their face like this, and then be talked about every day, which then tied their hands on it. This is what happened. They're fucking losers. They got a little bit of their own medicine here, because I don't think they were like trying to move them. I just think they were trying to gauge stuff and put some stuff out and get feelers, and here we are.
When's the Flyers Lake Tahoe game?
Sunday at 3.
Sunday.
Expect a announcement Saturday night, Sunday morning. Because to your point, Chrome, whenever there is another major thing going on in this city, the Eagles find a way to make headlines.
Huh. True.
And I was just trying to think of the next. I was just trying to think of the next big event, right? So the Flyers come back tomorrow. They go play in Lake Tahoe. Boom.
Done. I could see
Never fails.
Like tomorrow night, I was gonna, not jump on Birds of a Feather because there was nothing going on, and it's let you guys go ahead. You know what I mean? Type deal. But now I got a feeling. Here we go. Now I know what's coming. I can fucking feel it. I can feel it. It was a weird text too. Like it wasn't expected. It was just like, yo, heard this from his lawyer. I said, oh, here we go.
It makes sense too, Tom, because again, it seemed like what were the latest rumors? It was all about Wentz's approval, right? And we got to find out if he would be willing to go. Well, sounds to me that he's willing to go. So now it's like, oh, he's willing to go. Okay, let's final up the details. It's ridiculous.
I just can't believe we're here. I just can't believe as an organization we're here.
Man. It's wild.
It's one thing if the guy's Ryan Leaf and stinks, right? Or Tim Couch. They hung on to Ryan Leaf and Tim Couch longer than we're hanging on to Carson Wentz.
That's so true.
And they freaking stunk.
That's so true.
And he's going to go somewhere and play well.
I hope he does.
I hope he's a Hall of Fame quarter. I hope he goes and wins 2 or 3 Super Bowls and is a fucking Hall of Famer.
I don't know about 2. I don't know about 2 or 3. I mean, 1.
Oh, I want him to win a Super Bowl every time he has a chance. It's that bad. I'm the burn it to the ground guy at this point. You reap what you sow. Burn it to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And
At
they
least
sit
the
there
other
and
teams in this organization, at least the other teams in this city have that kind of positivity that I could feel that way. Now, if everybody stunk, I might be singing a different tune. But, at this point, it's laughable. Let the joke be on them for a while. Fuck them.
and they sit there in their glass house and they think that their shit don't stink. And that they're the starters. Yeah, they're the gold standard.
It's like it's
This
like
is the new normal.
They take advantage of this loyal franchise or the loyal fan base. I swear to God, because they know we're going to watch. We know they're going to sell tickets. So it's like,
What was the name of the book?
Fearless.
Fearless.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. But a fucking coach is not here anymore.
Yep.
That's the problem. Your fearless isn't here because you didn't let your fearless be fearless. Greg doesn't have to like Doug at all. Okay, I don't give a shit if anybody likes Doug. Doug was a damn good football coach. Okay, I'm not saying he's a great X and O guy. I'm not crowning him. If you go back and watch tape on him, I'm saying he was a good leader of men and he got his players ready to go. The failure came from up fucking top. They took the joy away from this guy, and all he wanted was a seat at the table after he won a Super Bowl for decisions. That's all he wanted. Are you kidding me? And what happened is your owner and your GM got the biggest egos in the fucking country and didn't allow him a seat at the table. So then the divide started to happen little by little by little, and then you win 4 fucking games. So suck my dick if you don't believe that's true.
Isn't it crazy?
Open for business.
I keep thinking about next year, right? And it's like mind-blowing to me.
There is
How-
no next year.
Different
One next year.
It's just mind-blowing to me how different this organization feels. Like it's almost like
Sad.
a
Sad.
whole
Mhm.
different
Yep.
team. Like we're gonna have some of the guys on the team, like the Brandon Grahams and the Fletcher Coxes that we know and we love. But at the same time, it's almost like I'm gonna feel like it's like a totally different team, like a whole different organization. It's like going on and playing fucking Madden, Ralphie, and going into the next year, just wiping all the rosters and doing like a fantasy draft of like the entire league. Like that's how it feels to me. It's like I don't even know this team.
You know what it is, Crum? And like I said,
There's no identity to them. That's the
No.
thing. There's no
It's a
identity
team
whatsoever.
with
New head
an
coach,
identity crisis.
new
That's what it
staff.
is, I see.
Well, to your
Nothing.
point,
Where does identity start with?
What's that?
Where does identity start with?
Your head coach.
up top.
Let's talk about
top.
on the field.
Up top, and then I
Well,
guess the
quarterback.
years after the Super Bowl, this team lost
On the field,
its
right?
edge.
Not on the field. Where's your identity on the field? Who's your identity guy? For every
It's-
Quarterback.
It's lost.
It's your quarterback.
It's lost.
Yeah, it's your quarterback. So it's like, well, I mean, you could be Mr. Jalen Hurts all you want, not you guys, but like the crowd, the fam out there. Fine, be him, but your identity is just taken away. Like,
I feel like they turned into the Browns overnight.
Well, and with the staff, right? You talk about the staff. All of these signings and hirings,
we're for him.
it's just like, okay,
For Carson.
Were they or were they
They
for
were for
Jalen?
Carson, we thought, right? We
Well-
thought they were for Carson.
it's becoming more and more clear it was for friggin' Howie because the whole thing was, a bunch of young guys that are happy to be there. And I'm not saying they can't coach. I'm not saying that at all. So that anyone coming in here a year from now and being like, oh, you guys said they couldn't coach. Nobody's saying that. But you're going from a regime that won a damn Super Bowl to all these nameless, faceless figures to where I don't think I'm the only one. All of these moves, I'm like, I feel nothing. I feel nothing because I know what it truly is. It's that, hey, the last 2 coaching staff really was only the one, and that was Chip. But they wanted to paint because, God forbid, a guy who has a ring and won a Super Bowl against the freaking GOAT and the GOAT, the 2 GOATs with a backup freaking quarterback, God forbid, he wants some respect. Doesn't want to make all the calls, but he wants to have say in it, right? God forbid he says, hey, at least give me a guaranteed contract after I win a Super Bowl. They didn't do that. Or give me some respect and at least a seat at the table with, hey, bringing in some players that can actually play and help my quarterback or my defense. For God forbid he does that.
Yeah, or can I at least have say on who plays on Sunday?
Something,
Yep.
Ralphie.
Is that, am I allowed to do that? Or do I have to
This
stand on the sideline with a fucking clipboard and call plays for you? While
organization-
you're allowed to make all the decisions for me.
Yes.
Are you the head coach, Howie, or am I?
Well,
And I don't blame Doug for leaving at all.
You know the answer.
Good for him.
You know
Good for
the
him
answer.
for leaving.
No, at the end of the day, they took the situation with Chip Kelly and whatever the hell happened with Doug, and they're like, oh, we're not going to go through the power struggle. We're going to bring in all these younger guys. We're going to bring in the Frank Reich tree, which, again, I'll say for the 100th time, I didn't even know it was a friggin' tree. I thought it was a branch. Like the Frank Reich coaching tree, I didn't know that existed. So you're bringing in all these guys. It's like, really? Like if you would have upgraded, quote unquote, and you would have brought in all these guys that, a Lincoln Riley and Eric Bieniemy, et cetera. I mean, there's a million guys. We talked about it for weeks. Then, okay, I see what you're doing. But you're bringing in a coach that's never really even been a coordinator before?
Never didn't call plays in Indianapolis.
No.
Didn't call a play.
Like, what are you hanging your hat on? Like, okay, it'd be one thing if we had experience on the defensive side or the offensive coordinator be like, okay, well, Sirianni's leaning on it. It's basically like, okay, Howie and Jeffrey are going to make the plays, and this is the regime that's, hey, I'm so happy to be here. This has been my dream job since I was 3. And it's like, you're not going to win like that. And you're especially not going to win with passing along a quarterback to where I understand he wasn't very good this year, but you're never going to recoup the value if Carson goes to Chicago or whatever and he wins. You're never going to be on the winning side of that trade. Mm-hmm. It's impossible.
Nope.
Nah. No,
absolutely.
You're
and
absolutely
us fans
right.
are just sitting here like we put out that meme at the bottom of the friggin' pool, just drowning. We're just sitting here and waiting for this team to screw us again.
And Krem, I love what you said on. I think it was on Birds of a Feather, right? Yeah, last week about the whole Nick Foles thing of, bringing back Nick Foles, and you're going to do the same exact thing what you did to Carson Wentz, but this time it's Jalen Hurts' turn to get to feel what everybody has to what Carson Wentz went through.
It's unbelievable. Like
if Nick Foles does come back.
I don't see how they make this deal and Nick Foles isn't a part of that deal. And why would Chicago, after seeing what happened here, keep Nick Foles and bring Carson Wentz into that equation? They have no choice but to include Nick Foles in that deal. Yes. So, first of all, if Chicago is the one team, if reports are true that they're the only team offering a first-round pick, I hear people saying, oh, I don't want to see him go to Chicago. I'm going to see him go where it's going to get us the best return, first of all. Mm-hmm. But
absolutely,
thanks, Jamie.
Why we would do the exact same thing to this kid that we just did is beyond me. And even if you say, but no, Jalen Hurts is our quarterback going forward. All the same people, by the way, who have been piping in and trying to get Jalen Hurts to be the starting quarterback here most of them are the same people that were piping for Nick Foles. I can't wait to see the inner conflict those people have and start going at it. Now you got to choose. Are you a Hurts guy? Are you a Foles guy? We're going to start seeing it.
Hurts is never going to have a chance.
Wait,
maddening.
Chrome,
especially if he has a bad week.
If he has a bad week?
No, I'm saying if Jalen Hurts starts week 1 and he has a bad game, then you're really going to see it.
If he has a bad week?
All right, I got a question for you, Chrome.
Oh, yeah, I get what you're saying.
All right, so we got a picture of some Foles fans and Jalen Hurts fans. Can you spot the differences? No, they're the same damn picture.
Exactly. There's no difference. I mean, it's going to be I'm telling you guys, it's going to be a circus next year. And I should hate it, but at the same time, I have nothing else to be excited about. So at least for next year, I'm almost excited to see how insane people start to sound and have to go through an entire season of listening to the insanity. I'm almost excited for it. I'm not going to lie. That's why
it's going to be bad,
to the ground.
It's
burn
that
shit
bad.
down and rebuild it. Just burn it down. Let's just if we're going to do it, light the gasoline, throw some fucking pipe bombs in there, whatever you have to do, blow this shit up. Let's just
call the National Guard.
I mean, this is going to be probably one of the biggest disasters we've ever seen.
The only way this team's going to be good is if Jalen Hurts is good. It's really that simple. You know what I mean? So it's your expectations of Jalen Hurts on what you think he is.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, Tom. It's just Hurts can be a friggin' say, he's a top 10 quarterback next year. I just don't think this defense has given up 30-plus points a game. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
you don't know who's on it yet. I mean, you know what I mean? So it's it's hard to say that. No,
I hear you. It's just that we have so many damn holes to fill. You know what I mean? Like I hear you. I can't judge the team until we see who's on the roster. But it's like, oh my god, where do you start with this defense?
Well, if our defensive front and Slayer back, you know what I mean? Depending on who they draft, you know, you're not horrendous. You know what I mean? You led the National Football League in sacks last year. So I mean, you can get after the quarterback. So you have at least an identity there. I'm not disagreeing with you that they won't give up points, but I'm just like, you know, there's an identity there at least. Like if he can play, then you're going to be good. You're going to be competitive because it's a quarterback-driven league. So, you know, it just depends on how much people believe he can play or not. I mean, you know, he's got to complete at least 58% of his passes to be able to be good enough in this league. And if he can do that, then I can live with it because he can run around. But you can't be at 52. It's a big, drastic difference. So if he can get up to that number, so be it. Like, I'm rooting for the guy if he's going to be the guy because I'm an Eagles fan.
Yeah.
So there's
same thing with me.
There's nobody.
If he's the guy,
yeah,
I'm going to be behind Jalen Hurts, and let's ride him out and let's see what we got. But at the end of the day, dude, this Carson Wentz shit, man, either just move on from him already. Like, I'm tired of waking up every day and just seeing new articles about his character and how he's handling it. And now all of a sudden, like, oh, he doesn't want to go to Chicago. He's trying to make his way to Indianapolis. And it just, dude, if you're going to do it, just do it and just get it done and over with already.
But see, Ralphie, we have a GM and an owner that still thinks it's 2017 and they're going to outthink the room and they're going to fleece teams to get up. We're not even in 2017. They're going to fleece teams to get up to the number 2 pick, and they're going to fleece teams to get Jay Ajayi because, hey, oh my God, we're the smartest people in the room, not realizing that they've absolutely sucked as an organization since the trophy, since the parade. So they're going to be like, hey, we're going to hold out because we're going to try and fleece teams. No, because if you hold out, you know what the Bears are going to do? You're seeing what the Colts are doing? Hey, what else is out there? Because we're not dealing with it.
What free agents are out there and what guy that's at least lower or somewhat above Wentz, what can we do for him? You know what I mean? If Wentz ain't available, like you said, Ryan, what else is out there? And you see a lot of people around, on different, just on social media saying, "Oh, well, we got Sam Brad. We gave up we got a first for Sam Bradford." Well, that's different times, though, dude. Like you were 2 weeks away from the NFL season when that situation happened.
Yep.
Yeah.
Minnesota had to give up a first, or they were going. I forget who the backup quarterback at the time was.
Case Keenum, who ended up taking them to
Yeah.
Case Keenum.
So at that time, Minnesota had to give up a first-round pick just to get Sam Bradford in.
Yeah. No,
different times. Now it's different now. You have a whole off season. You have the draft. You have the free agency now. You're not 2 weeks away from the NFL season.
And at the end of the day, we all need this for it to be done because if Jalen Hurts, and listen, we hope that he's the Russell Wilson that people were trying to tell us. We hope that he's half of that, okay? I need us to move on from this so we can figure out, not us as a fan base, us as an organization, them as an organization, figure out a way to help him. Because if he ends up being what, oh my God, we passed on Russell Wilson 6 years ago, so we couldn't do it again. If he turns into something like that, you know what that's going to do? That's going to save us a lot of years of trouble. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That's going to save us a lot of pain. But he's not going to get to that point if they don't help him. And they have a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
I mean,
unrelated note, Osaka, baby. Took down Serena. Sorry.
I'll tell you what, Chrome. If they draft a freaking quarterback, at 6, I'm going to be watching a lot more tennis, Chrome. I'm going to be watching a lot more tennis.
Justin Fields, I'm telling you.
I will see you guys next week. I got to go to a field and sing for a Super Bowl commercial advertising oat milk. So I will see you guys next Wednesday.
Sounds fun.
Have fun with that.
I'll try.
Just don't say field too loud because they'll take Fields in the draft.
Yep, don't yell too loud. Listen, I mean, I can't do that.
Okay, so if you do take Justin Fields, this is pissing me off now. So if you do take Justin Fields at 6,
you still don't have a quarterback.
So then last year's 53rd pick on Jalen Hurts doesn't mean anything now.
Nope.
Then what was the point of taking him at 53 then?
They'd have to trade both.
Yep.
You would have to.
But listen, I just think I think they're gonna. I think that they think Jalen Hurts, if they trade Wentz, is the guy. and they're going to run with them. And if they lose, they lose, and they don't care because then they'll lose games out on purpose, and they'll try to be the number one pick, and they'll try to get their quarterback that way. So to me, this owner's in for whatever. If he catches lightning in a bottle and the guy can play, then they save face. If he can't play, they're in a whole heap of trouble.
Why couldn't we suck so bad in the draft with the best quarterback prospect that we've seen in the last 5 years to get the number one pick now?
Yeah, right.
Well, you watch. Listen, I think we're kidding ourselves now, fam. Everyone's talking about Fields. Watch, they'll go back to freaking North Dakota.
Trey Lance at 6. Oh, man.
Nothing surprising me anymore, Ralphie.
I know.
Nothing.
You want to?
That'd be. Ooh.
Yeah, I don't.
I mean, you can sell me on Zach Wilson. I don't know if you can sell me on.
Not sell me on any of them.
No, you're absolutely right.
Trevor, if his first name isn't Trevor, last name Lawrence, I'm not being sold on anything. I'll take freaking Jalen Waddle before I take a quarterback. All right, I might not do that, but either way.
I would do that. Chrome, you got anything?
Yeah, I got an ooh. Something happened. Ooh.
I mean, it's unrelated, but one of the wrestlers, Kyle O'Reilly, as they went off the air, had a seizure.
What?
Had to be helped by medical. So that just broke. Unrelated. So prayers to him. By the way, that's crazy.
That's crazy
for sure.
Gets kicked in the face Sunday night, and then has a seizure tonight.
Well, they said I think he took a suplex or something on the steps that knocked him out cold, and then that might have caused the seizure.
Donovan says a healthy O-line, good QB play, draft Patrick Surtain, and if we get the Bears draft pick, the linebacker, so I mean, there's ways to rebuild it, but it still comes down to if your quarterback can play.
Yep.
And then it's hurt from running all the fuck around if he can't throw from the pocket. So
got banged up in the second game.
I mean, even if you get, and I'll just say, if you get Justin Fields, there's still a lot of question marks obviously there. The fact that what do we talk about, right? One of the issues we had with Carson this year was that he wasn't looking off of his primary target, which is a common issue that comes up with Justin Fields. So say they draft Justin Fields and now you have a quarterback competition between both. Regardless of who it is, you're putting a lot of stock in very unproven talents in a city that we forced out a guy who in 4 of his 5 years has proven his worth. Absolutely proven his worth. And I've had people on here say, well, he wasn't good the last 2 years. Okay, well, the whole issue is that this guy's a playmaker, right? He created plays his first 4 years. Last year, regression. He's never been good at ball security. We understand that. It was a mess last year. But, Tom, I know you talk about this all the time. It comes up all the time. If you doubt his ability to pick a team up and put them on their back, you go back to 2019 when he took a bunch of practice squad guys, a bunch of them who would be out there with Shane fucking Falco and the replacements, and took them to a playoff berth.
Is he available?
And absolutely proved to me, even more impressive than his MVP year, that impressed me more of him being able to go out there and those last 5 or 6 games carry this football team on his fucking shoulders across the line and get into the playoffs. And for anybody to discredit that year specifically is an absolute moron.
People do, Kramer.
I don't think,
and it's a shame. It's a shame.
Listen, I mean, I'm not debating this. Whether we agree or disagree, it's what's amazing about this, and it's a text that I was having my best friend was, it's so sad that we're at the point that we're at, right? And in the end, what's more frustrating is the fan base, because we're now losing a franchise quarterback over one bad year. And despite all of that, now, and this was his point that he made, he's going to be vilified in this city. Vilified forever in this city. Despite all the good he did, despite the MVP caliber year in 2017, despite coming back and carrying this team to the playoffs in 2019, he will always be looked at as a villain in this city going forward. And that's a disgrace.
I mean, he got wide receivers jobs the last 4 years. He got Boston Scott a job. Nobody wants to talk about them things, and that's fine. But let's see what this guy does with a lack of talent, and he'll probably throw for fucking 50% completion percentage and be hurt by week 5 because you're putting too much on him. Listen, Jalen Hurts is a worker. So, that's never going to be questioned. So can you continue to get better? Sure. And I pray to God he is, because I have no problem coming on these airways and saying I was wrong about him as an NFL quarterback. I have no problem coming on here and saying it. And I'll eat whatever you want.
I hope it happens.
Crow, ibuprofen for this fucking tooth, whatever you want me to eat. I'll eat.
And you're right, Tom. That is the one saving grace in all this is Jalen Hurts is a worker. So he's going to try to get better, and he's going to try to work hard to improve his craft. So that is the one saving grace in the guy that we do have left. Whether we think he's good or not, whatever, but at least the kid is a worker and he's a good kid. But we also thought and knew that about Carson too. So how'd that work out for us?
Denier, you know why everyone keeps talking about 17? Because the organization does. The owner literally in the introductory press conference said 2017 100 times in 5 minutes. They're still crowning themselves based off of that.
And he got paid for that. That's part of what he got paid for. Was what he did in 2017. So, I mean, come on. You're getting paid for your whole body of work. So I got $100.
All right, Denier, we'll go back and look at his numbers in 2018. They almost mirrored what he did in 2017. Go back and look what he did in 2019 with practice squad talent. You want to sit there and go down the years? We could do that. Look at what he did his rookie year and the stretch. They came out hot. They beat a damn good fucking Pittsburgh team early in that year by a lot. Blew them out of the water. And they started losing games when Lane Johnson decided to go ahead and get another suspension for performance-enhancing drugs, and you took your fucking tackle, your right tackle away.
Right tackle.
So we could go down the line. We can talk about each year if you really want to go to it. We've seen what he can be. That's the whole point. To run him out of town after 1 year is an absolute disgrace. It's okay to come on here and bash him for that year. He was terrible last year. He didn't do himself any favors. I agree with that. I've done it a million times. I probably bashed him more than anybody on A2D consistently. But he should be the quarterback of this football team going forward. And it is an absolute organizational failure. And it's a fan base failure for letting it happen, for instigating it and lighting the fucking fire for it.
Yeah, it's true. And you've got
an indictment on this fan base.
And you've got to ask yourselves as a fan base, regardless of how you feel about Wentz or Hurts, can Jalen Hurts in the incoming future, in the near future, overcome the organizational failures? Because as much as people don't want to credit Wentz, he did overcome that in 2019. He took that team, they had no business being in the playoffs, and he overcame all the weaknesses on the line and on the offense and in that organization, and he put the team on his back and he took them to the playoffs.
And if
I do not know if Jalen Hurts could do that. I don't know.
I'll tell you right now too, and I will say it, if it wasn't for that dirty hit, they go to the second round as well. They win that football game against the Seahawks.
They almost won the damn game with Josh McCown on one leg.
That's a runaway game.
Yeah, I agree. So like I said, it's like we've all said, it's no disrespect to Jalen Hurts. It's no crowning of Carson Wentz. This organization is choosing to hang their hat on a guy who we saw 3.5 games from. 3.5. And it was a lot of different stuff. Saw some good, saw some really bad, and everything in between. So if they feel comfortable doing that, well, then have fun. I'm not comfortable with that. I know nobody here is. And I don't think anybody should.
No, this whole thing's a disgrace.
They're acting like a team that
or any of that. It's just disgrace.
They're acting like an organization that hasn't had a franchise quarterback in 15 years, and they're just taking flyers on a whim of trying to find a guy to work. And that's when you go out and get a guy like Jalen Hurts, who is a worker, who could potentially develop into that talent 3, 4, 5 years from now. Maybe if you're lucky. You got have to have a lot of things go right and a hell of a lot of effort. And I agree. I think the kid will put the effort in. But the fact that they're acting like they didn't have a franchise quarterback to begin with, the way that they're going about this, is what's blowing my mind. They're not the Dolphins. They're not the Jets. They're not these fucking teams that haven't had a franchise quarterback in 20 years. You have one. You committed to him. $100 million plus dollars. Just committed to him. And now you're going to move him.
And don't forget, too, in 2019, your general manager refused to give up any draft picks at the trade deadline for a wide receiver. When at that time, yet again, we didn't have any wide receivers. Remember that? That whole week? You didn't give up a second for Robbie Anderson? You know, I know Robbie Anderson is a okay wide receiver, but at that time, you needed somebody, dude. Like, you need somebody that Carson
Robbie
can at
Anderson
least
looked
throw the
pretty
ball
good
to.
last year, Ralphie.
Absolutely.
Looked pretty good
Absolutely.
last year.
Yeah.
Wouldn't even give up a third for him, Ralphie.
No, refused to give up anything for any wide receiver at the trade deadline when we needed a wide receiver for help to give help for Carson Wentz.
Wouldn't give
and
up
he
a
refused
third.
to do that.
Wouldn't give up a third for Emmanuel Sanders. Wouldn't give up a damn fifth. It's ridiculous.
Nothing. Nope.
No effort to help him.
Nothing at all.
And then they're going to say, "Hey, we're worried about you as far as health, right?" We're completely negating that the offensive line was just completely banged up. I understand that wasn't their fault, but it was just that's what happened. We're going to keep you in the pocket, so we're not going to get you help as far as weapons, but then we're going to ask you to do something that you can do, but not to the greatest ability. We're going to say, "Hey, you know everything you did in 2017 with moving around, extending plays. We're going to tell you, hey." Stop doing that. We're not going to help you as far as consistency on the outside or any weapons. We're not going to help you as far as running backs, no disrespect to Miles Sanders, but we're not going to give you any surefire thing since 2017 to take some pressure off of you. It's just go have fun, right? Ridiculous.
Yeah. Hope
Ridiculous.
for the best.
Well, we're not going to bring
luck.
back for nothing. And I know he didn't do much on the field in terms of running the football, but he could still block like a son of a bitch. We're not going to go back and bring back Jordan Howard for peanuts to at least give you another layer of protection in the backfield. And oh, by the way, when we finally do bring him back, we're just not going to play him. We're not going to play him. Like, if anything, bring him in as an extra blocker on passing plays. Bring him in to fucking block on passing plays out of the shotgun. Something. It blows my mind. Blows my mind.
It shows you like they admit to a mistake, but then don't admit to it.
To bring him back. But yeah, don't fully admit to it.
Yeah. It's like a semi-admit.
This whole organization is a roller coaster, dude. It's a roller coaster.
We missed on draft picks. All those guys who went 2 or 3 picks before, well, what about the fucking guys who went 1 and 2 and 3 picks after? Or however many picks after, you jackasses.
Right. Yeah.
Ralphie, they're not even a damn roller coaster because roller coasters are supposed to be fun, right? Chrome will tell you the Disney, you know what I'm saying? The roller coasters on Disney, they're fun, right?
I love a little Disney magic. Let's go.
So I feel like the roller coaster's not even that. It's a broken down roller coaster that you think you're gonna have fun, right? Oh, we're gonna take a different avenue. Nope, broken down.
It's the old Gravitron ride, right? It just spins you in circles and makes you throw up.
Yeah.
Right? Just at high speed, just like
it's that, Greg, you'll get this. Tom will probably get this. It's the old Clementon Park Jackrabbit roller coaster, that old wooden rickety shit that ended up going into the roof. It hit that one point. I was there that day, by the way, where it went off the tracks and into the roof of the one building. That's it. We're the fucking Jackrabbit roller coaster, still going in 2021.
Of course you were there.
This is year the tracks went off. Or the cart went off the track.
Of course, Chrome was there. Yeah,
Snapchatting away. It was everywhere on the scene.
I remember showing up, and there was all police tape and stuff, and they had the fucking cart was sticking out of the top of the bed. It was pretty bad. I didn't ride it that day.
What's up, Evan?
What's up, Evan? Yeah, Chrome. Might as well just put a freaking Eagles logo on it now. That's where we're at. That's our life.
That's it.
Well, you put the logo on the whole park.
Yeah.
Whole park, or you just put on the Trump Tower that they took down in AC. You know what I mean? Before they burned it down.
R.I.P. to the site of WrestleManias 4 and 5.
Yeah, they did that real quick, didn't they, Tom?
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
they weren't wasting any time there.
No, they even sold tickets for it like it was a fucking event.
I saw a bunch of people on the beach.
Fucking building.
That place was mobbed on the beach.
Weird.
Listen, it's a COVID era. People have nothing better to do. They're like, oh, good, we're going to blow a building up. Let's all go and watch.
Yeah, ain't that the truth? All right, boys. Listen, this was a fun show.
Definitely.
One to touch Sixers, obviously, for the first hour. If you missed it, you can find us. Go back and listen to us anywhere you were, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch, and everywhere you get your podcast, we're there as well. So make sure you hit that like button for us. Subscribe if you like what you're listening to, even if you don't, because there's going to be somebody on here you do. So at the end of the day, if you didn't like us, you'll like somebody. Simple as that. This show was brought to you by the Counseling Center and Sunrise Detox. And we know many of us and our families deal with mental health and addiction issues. We are happy to support the Counseling Center and Sunrise Detox. And if you need help, please call 856-651-8117. And we are also brought to you by bodycheckwellness.com. You can use the promo code A2D and get yourself 20% off at checkout. So go check out their line of products, CBDs and all organic and really cool stuff. Go check out their product and enjoy it. Thanks, Yusuf. I appreciate it. Yeah, I got to go in on the little guy, and plus I'm freaking – I don't know what the hell's going on with this tooth. I think my mouth got bigger as the show went on. So
tonight was Cass's first win, though, right? Sixers?
Yeah. Yes, first Sixers.
There you go. Hey, there we go. There we go. Greg clap.
Oh, sorry.
He was watching early on.
Good job, Cass. Way to break the seal, buddy.
He's a cool dude, man. He's a good dude. Thank God he's a cute kid. You know what I mean? He ain't doing like an ugly kid. Thank God he's a cute one. So, love you guys. Love our sponsors. Love everybody that helps make this show go and every show here at A2D. So, for Tom Arnaud and Ryan Broder, Ralph Delvecchio, Chrome, Greg Milakovic. I don't even give Chrome his full name. It's Chrome.
That's fine.
Great shirt.
That's all you need.
Great shirt, Greg. Pitchers and catchers reported today. It's the start of spring training. Giddy up.
It's tomorrow.
Let's go. Stay tuned tomorrow night. Birds of a Feather right here, A2D Radio. You'll find Chrome, Chucks, Pete, and Jeff Warner. So enjoy yourselves. Stay locked in, and we'll see you guys again on Fan Friday. So tons of shows. We love you. We out.